Hey y'all, welcome to the Realm Studio. I'm Paula, and yeah, I'm a little bit late. I'm still finding, let's see, I'm still getting stuff together here. I had to fix some hot tea so that I would sound a little bit less like a frog today. We'll see how that works. There's my chat ready. Scoot that over there. Put that up on my upper screen so that I can see any chat from any of the places that I'm streaming to. And let's see, I was thinking about working on that one, but I am unhappy with it. So we'll work on this one again today. Which, I could still make some serious changes too. But yeah, so I had to stop and make some hot tea, try and figure out where my voice has gone. And then I noticed that the garage was still open. So I thought, well, I better shut the garage. Then I saw that the cat was in the garage, and she's a mama cat. It would be very bad to leave her in there. So I ended up having to get the cat out of the garage first and feeding her at, making sure she had food at all of her different stations where I've set food around, just so that she'd be anywhere but in the garage. So, her kittens are doing well. I've discovered that I can see them from a vantage point at my window. I counted them. There's still 6. So we're in good shape. And let's see, what else have I been up to today? So I wrote a big list of all the stuff that I needed to have done, soon. And I've actually gotten quite a lot of it at least worked on. So I sent out my backer surveys for my comic. That was exciting and nerve-wracking. Still waiting on a few of those to come back. I figured out that I have so many postcards that even for my digital-only backers, if they'll send me a mailing address, I can send out a postcard. So that's exciting. Goodness knows I should be able to send a postcard anywhere in the world. Or, you know, a couple dozen or so. Let's see, I noticed that this eye was looking a little flat. So I really need to work on like setting it into the pony's face. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit gray around it because he's not an albino, he's just a gray. And he'll have his eyelid as well. So the thing with drawing something that's pure white, you can't draw something that's pure white. Yeah, they're going to pick up whatever color is in their surroundings and reflect it. I do want to make sure I don't make him too fuzzy. He's going to be a little fuzzy, but, you know, not too much. Let's see, in addition to sending out the backer surveys, I've sent out a new update on the progress of everything. I have everything that I need to send out the rewards except for the actual comic, and that should be on its way very soon. It's going to be printing early next month, and I'm just so excited to get it. I'll actually see what my work looks like in print. Yeah, this is pretty much the most major thing I've done, and it's only going to get bigger because it is a 10-issue series. And this is only issue 1. I did decide that I was just going to go with the first digital wallpaper. And then for the next campaign, I'll do a new one. Maybe have the option of both. So I really want to build on what I started with the first issue and draw in more people. That's going to take some careful writing on my part to be sure that every issue is a good issue to jump on board with, and also so that every issue you want to continue the story and see where it goes. Also, at the same time, I've been, it's kind of hard to say that I've actually been editing my novel. Really, I've been reading it over and making a few changes here and there, but I really need to think about it more. So I have my editor's notes on it, and yes, I agree. I cannot believe that I was that sloppy for so much of it. In my defense, if I actually need a defense for this kind of thing, it's not really something that to be defensive about, but I was in a hurry to finish it out and get the whole thing written because I could only hold the whole thing in my head for so long. So, yeah, I really needed the help, and I'm really happy that I have an editor working with me on it. Now I just need to, I need to settle down and do the work and fix it. And I have a few vague beginnings of ideas. But, being able to concentrate on them and actually deliver, that might prove tricky. The whole thing was so glorious in my head, but once I got it written down, you know what? I don't like any of these lines that I just put. Let's back all the way out of that. Let's find something a little warmer. There we go. That's much better. Yeah, I completely lost my train of thought. I know, it was something about editing. Anyway, that's kind of how it goes. Let's see if I can blend this out. And put some depth and color in this eye. Let's see, it looks a little too divided still. And then probably what I'll do is go on a layer above it and add in the highlights. That way it won't get muddied in with the rest of the eye. But it helps me to to know my characters when I draw them. As I can, usually I can kind of drift off and imagine how they would behave in a certain situation. Or just working on what they look like puts me in mind of their story. And I just sort of, almost on a subliminal level, think it over and work it out. And also, at the end of it, I get some extra promotional pieces out of it and stuff. Well, if what I've been working on is any good. But, you know, sometimes you got to get all the way through a piece before you can understand whether it's good or not. Yesterday there was something interesting. I heard a fawn out in the woods. But I didn't hear it today, so I guess it's fine. But yeah, it's funny. Now I actually know what a baby deer sounds like. They do make a little noise. So, aside from the pollen, the insane amounts of pollen out here, I'm really enjoying living in the country. But, yikes. I'm also really going to enjoy being able to breathe again someday. Like, I've tried Claritin, I've tried Benadryl. Benadryl was not a good idea, at least not in the middle of the day. Because I thought, oh, wow, I feel a little better. Just in just a minute, I'll be able to get some stuff done. And then I just sort of accidentally took a nap. So, yeah, it snuck up on me. At least with something like NyQuil, you know that it's going to hit you, and it hits you, and you know that you've been hit. Benadryl, though, yeah, I did not realize how much it affected me until I woke up 2 hours later. It was weird. I don't know if we want to do that anymore. This is going to be an interesting, tricky spot because I did not put multiple layers in here for these different colors. So I'm going to have to blend it very carefully. See, I think the muzzle could be a little grayer. You know, overall. I don't think that a gray horse's muzzle is going to have that much white on it. It's gonna be gray for a good bit. Let's pull back even darker in here. So I didn't really have anything prepared to talk about. It's kind of showing. So I don't know if this piece is ever going to turn out. I mean, I'm having one of those days where I don't know if anything that I do is going to turn out. Which is kind of weird because every year I say, this is going to be it. This is going to be my year. This is when I'm going to, accomplish something that, I can point to and say, I have done this thing. I have completed it. And this year, it really is the year. This is actually objectively true this year. I've written a novel. I'm working on edits, which if I could just get my head in the right space, they'll go very quickly. But I feel like there's like a little plot point that I have not dealt with. And I've almost got it. It's like when you're going to say something and it's on the tip of your tongue and you just can't spit it out. But I will get it. So yeah, an entire novel. And it's going to be published. That's one thing. And I've created an entire comic, issue 1 of my comic series. Yeah, there's 9 more issues to go, but I've gotten the first one. And that's more than I've had. And I crowdfunded the printing cost for it. And that went much better than I expected it to. Like way better than all projections that I had been working with would have told me. Pretty much because I'm a normal human being to other people online, and I don't pick fights or say stupid stuff to antagonize people. Which, there seem to be a lot of people who do that, and they think that there are going to be lots of buyers for their comics, and it's not really happening, no. It's a lot of noise. It's a lot of sound and fury, but not a lot to show for it. Meanwhile, the people who do have something legitimate to complain about, they are finding an audience. So, I don't judge them. Apparently, a lot of people feel the way they do. And they're in their rights to feel it. Me, I didn't really get to be part of the whole comics culture. That they're all saying something's wrong with it. I haven't really known it a different way. I do think that a lot of this progress that's taken place is just spinning wheels for the sake of being able to say that they moved, but nothing of value was gained. It's not just... It's not really progress if you don't actually gain anything of value from doing it. Or if everything of value that you think you gained, well, it was already gained like 20 years ago. You're late to the party and you're just denying it. That's kind of sad. Okay, so I think I've got his muzzle darkened up. They're going to have these little wrinkles and ripples in their lips. That's fun. Right there. Let's see, I think I can get a much darker color for the skin around the eye. Still. Let's go down to a smaller brush. And see, this is already making a huge difference to how real it looks. Because a gray horse's eyelids are going to be gray. Like a dark, blackish kind of color. See, my horse used to be, well, a strawberry roan, but she was mostly a gray. Let's see, bring that back. And they'll have like these little whiskery eyelashes. It's really cute. let's see, and I started writing like a little, not exactly a sales paper, but kind of, just to include in with the comics that I ship out, let them know that they can come, the people who read the comic, thank them for backing it and let them know that they can come visit my website and see what else I've got going on. And then it just turned out to be an entire handwritten page of thank you note to everybody, because I still just cannot believe it that I've gotten this whole thing actually created and published and got the last little bit of it funded, really. But I am going to want to get started a little sooner on the next issue, and I might have to crowdfund a little earlier in the process. Actually pay for some of the art through crowdfunding rather than pay for everything and essentially have it done except for the print run and having somewhere to send the copies once that they're made. Thank you, autosave. I wish you were there for me on that last one. Yeah, I had another painting I was working on, and I don't know where it is now. It's just gone. It's either in here somewhere or it got obliterated somehow. I need to figure out how to do more of an automated saving process, and I should probably organize it more too. So this little guy's actually a character coming up soon. Probably not issue 2. Unless I get to make issue 2 like this giant thing and get further along in the story than I'd hoped. But yeah, about issue 3. He's a fun little mythical creature. Oh, speaking of mythical creatures, that's something that I should start working on next week. I had a field guide to the other realm, all the different creatures that I'm featuring in the comic. That I was adding pages to as a reward. For however many backers we were going to get. I'd add another page. So I think I got it up to 5 or 6 pages, and I did more sketches than that. So I wanted to revisit all my sketches and tidy up a few, maybe expand on them, finish them out, and then pile them together in a PDF. Also, it would help if I knew exactly how to send a PDF. I mean, I don't have the Adobe software, so I'll have to work around that. So that's just making it, though. But I've made PDFs before. It's not terrible. But how do I deliver this thing? Do I email a link to download it, or do I just email the whole thing directly? If I email a link, what do I use? Like Google Docs? I don't know. Can you do that? It's been a while and I had a different setup then. So yeah, I do need to finish putting the thing together. But I had it on the campaign that my deadline to ship it out would be July. And really it's looking like I'll be able to ship everything out sometime in June. Even the physical rewards. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's good to be ahead of schedule. There's still so much that I want to learn how to do. And I don't understand how I'm going to find the time or the headspace to do it in. I mean, I can learn a lot of things on my own, but some days it's a little trickier than others. Let's see. So, yeah, I have a couple of things I can go ahead and check off this list. It's actually right in front of me. So, there. I got the update. I got the backer surveys. Well, I tried to write the thing. It did not turn out the way I expected it to. Same for the editing. So let's see, I've got about 10 more minutes. And I'm not really sure what I should work on next about this. Let's see, it could use some work here. So I will be running another Kickstarter pretty soon, shortly after I ship out the rewards for this one. We'll see if I can get some enamel pens made, and that'll be fun. I have a couple of designs in mind, but I've about settled on, let's see, where'd it go? Yeah, I've about settled on this one for the pen. It'll be like a 1-inch pen or a 3/4 of an inch pen. This actually would turn out to be a really cute coloring page. I might need to continue working on a little series of these. And I've recently finished this piece. Oh, here's my website, www.otherrealmstudio.com. Stop by there, sign up for my website, check out what I've got. I have a Zazzle shop as well, and a Etsy shop, which I'm gonna have to work on setting up links to all those things. Yeah, so there it is without the line art on it. And I have this one on one t-shirt at Zazzle, but I could put it on any number of other products. Coffee mugs, cookie jars, lampshades, blankets, throw pillows, like everything imaginable. Like Zazzle has everything. It's kind of crazy. Also, keep in mind, I'm open for commissions. I can do digital paintings like this one. Here's one that I consider finished. I'm kind of proud of this one because I think it would make a really nice book cover. There's plenty of room up here for the title. It's got some good contrast. It's got, some movement across diagonally. It looks very dynamic. I've got the reflection in the snow and the trees. Or, well, yeah, the light bouncing off here. The snow down here looks really good. It's got this warm tone to it down here where the light's coming off of this guy. I really like this piece. And this was just one that I did for myself as an example. So, especially if you have something something with mythical creatures in it, science fiction or fantasy illustrations in mind, that would be great. That's my kind of thing. I would love to work on more of those. I had, let's see, I had a book cover around here somewhere. Yeah. That one's the copy. Oh, here's the mint condition one. See, I enjoyed working on this cover so much. I was given free rein for this one. I asked about creating just spiny mermaids on an alien underwater surface. On an alien moon, I think I said. And he wanted some kind of retro pulp look, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing that one. And also, in addition to doing paintings of spiny mermaids and pixies and fire fairies, I can also do comic coloring in either a painted style like this one with line art, or in a style more like traditional comics. So here's one of the pages that I did for my comic. This is it's like a cell shaded approach, which is a lot more like you see in cartoons. It's very simple and abstract. Well, not simple precisely, but it's got harder edges. There's not a lot of gray to it. I keep the colors bright. And you know, I have some kind of atmospheric color choices going on in this one. So this one's from my comic. The Kickstarter for it is over, but you'll be able to order that one from my website or from my Etsy shop, and I'll be shipping those out to arrive July 31st. And if you were a backer for this comic, then you get yours before then, because I'm pretty sure that I will get my copies well before then. And then I'll just ship them out from here. So I'm only going to be selling these direct. I will not have these in the Diamond Comic catalog because it's really expensive to get into the Diamond Comic catalog, and I'm having to do this on a shoestring, y'all. Which, you know, it kind of brings me back to I'm open for commissions. I'm very reasonable. I stay in touch with people, and I communicate, and I give you pictures of the work in progress. Not full resolution pictures. I take pictures with my somewhat awful camera on my tablet, but I keep in touch. And of course, you have your opportunity to, make changes before everything's finalized. So you can see I've got a range. And looking forward to making little pins. That's going to be exciting. That's going to be great to take to Comic Cons too. And also, they are kind of popular on Kickstarters. Let's see, might as well save on this one. Let's fit the screen. Yeah, I like the ears. They're turning out. They're looking a little vivid. This one, let's see. We're kind of in the wrong spot here. I might have to select that and move it up, which is a huge advantage to working digitally. I mean, can you imagine if I was doing this on canvas? Oh, it'd be such a pain. Although I do think that his mane's meant to be down here a bit more. And then this should be moved over. Yeah, I did not construct a good skeleton for this one, for this piece, before I got started on it. Which, you know, I guess you can tell. Let's see. Come on. The zoom in feature would work on my mouse. It's supposed to just zoom in when I scroll on it, and it does not always work like that. So, one thing that you can do when you've got an issue like this, you can take your little lasso tool and select the piece that ended up in the wrong place for whatever reason, especially if you accidentally neglected somehow to build a proper skeleton for it first. So you do your lasso tool and it gives you the menu for it, and you do the rotate and resize. And that will cut it from where you had it. Don't even bother with the cut and paste thing, unless you really need to make copies of it. So let me see. Yeah, I think that's going to work there. And we will zoom back out on it. Okay, see, I also shortened it. So right here, I need to draw the arm back in and stuff. But the placement makes much more sense on the head of it. Let's see. But if we undo this, maybe scoot that just a little. And deselect. Yeah, I like it a lot better, and I also think that when I go to fix the mane, it's going to come up over this side of the ear a bit more. So, yeah, I've run over my time now. But yeah, this one was a piece that I did not take as much care with my skeleton as I really should have. And now you see what happens. Sometimes you gotta chop stuff up and move it around. Man, showing you the ugly stuff today. Let's see. Also this arm. Lop that off. Yeah, there's a few things wonky about it. Because where does that elbow belong? Elbow belongs back in here. So we'll block that right there. And get back to work on that next time. Alright, that's going to have to do it for tonight. So, yeah, I am pretty happy about a few pieces of this painting. I like the back of the hand here. I do not like how it blends here near the wrist. That needs more work. I like the muzzle on the pony, a little colt here. That's finally looking good. I like this ear pretty well, although I could potentially adjust that one as well. I like the expression, but I don't think that it actually looks much like Becca. So, yeah, I have a lot of things that I need to probably use the lasso tool on and completely rethink. Yeah, this is just one of my pieces to be learning on. You know, one of the things that I can do here, oh yeah, it's Friday night, so I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Let me do this. But I will be back on Monday doing another stream. So, you know, one of the things that you can do to use a color that is not anywhere in this picture. We'll use like a purple on this top layer that has my schedule written on it. One of the things that you can do when you're fixing a painting that did not start off having a good skeleton, you can pop another layer on it and draw the skeleton. Yeah, it's also very valuable to have a good artist draw over your work. Let's see, do I concentrate on her figure or the pony? The pony's actually not terrible. It's a lot more simple of lines. Alright, so what you have here is the head, which is going to be somewhat of a dimensional shape. Right here. Then you have like your shoulders that go across here. Your clavicle is going to go like this. So you have to figure out, where is this skeleton going? And once you get that, once you figure out, where it should have gone, then the great thing about working with digital is that you can actually do what I did with this ear a second ago, and you can take your loop, little lasso tool, and you can sometimes, if it's not in such bad shape, you can rearrange things and resize them until they do work. So coming on here, I'm going to do a draw over, which the shape of the hands, probably the gesture needs a little work right here. The hands are all right. The proportions are a little off. So I think especially right here around the shoulders and around the waist, I think I got caught up in some detail right here and did not correct my skeleton when I should have. And yet, it's not too late to fix. So yeah, this is one of my experimental pieces. It's always good to learn and experiment and not be afraid to show your work. This is like that thing when you've solved a math problem and your teacher says, well, how did you solve it? You have to show your work. And you're like, fine. So this is how you know whether you've just been eyeballing it and getting there by guesswork, or if you actually have a good solid piece that's going to work for, real life. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so this right here, I've gone over. I don't need to be doing this. But I'm working it out. So this right here is the spine. Well, no, wait, it's not quite the spine. So here's our spine. Stops here. So she's leaning forward slightly. So I do think that I have inadvertently eyeballed a few details and caused them to kind of do the Escher thing and not really make sense if you think about where they began and where they end. So I'll be working on this one some more, and it will ultimately be a much stronger piece. And I might even separate it out from the background layer and use it as part of a collage. So there's a thought. I can still use this. Okay, but it really is late and I gotta go. I gotta sleep at some point in my life. And if I keep talking, my voice really will be gone. So, thank you for following along. I appreciate you keeping me company. And I'll see you in the other realm. Good night.